Okay, so we're talking about creating link bait. And so one of the things we're trying to do is in order to have a piece of link bait, we need to have something of value to link to. So we've brainstormed the ideas. Now we're going to collect information, and there's many ways to do that, but collect information that we can make that's unique. And so one of the ways I'm going to do this is through my just a simple Google form. Um, and I'd like to share this with you all because I want your input. And I think one of the values of coming to each other here in this context, it's getting each other, so I'm not going to be offended if you say, oh, that doesn't make any sense, or hey, this could be much better if you did this. But I also want to show a couple of real intentional things I've done in this. So here I am explaining what's going on in the beginning. Maybe I'm verbose, but I kind of feel there's some elements here. So I want to establish, why, what I'm trying to do and who I am. I want to put my name on this. That's why I did this. And a way to contact me, I'm doing Facebook page. But if I hover over curiousants.com, you might notice something in the lower left-hand corner. I don't know if you can read it, but I put UTM codes on it. So that way I can keep track if anybody does visit my website as a result of visiting this forum. I've also, because one of the idea I'm trying to use for my link bait is an old post that I previously wrote, I am showing people what I'm going to do with their data. Lo and behold, there's UTM codes in here, right? So I know if someone visits this page, but I also kind of want them to see this. It costs at least $360 a year to have a business online. Someone may think that's a terrible idea. That's kind of what I want. I kind of want to create a little controversy because I want a little controversy in this. I broke this down by the different pieces, and I'm really just trying to explain. But the other benefit of putting this here is I'm already seeding out the piece of link bait in the survey I'm using to generate the data. So we've talked about in Curious Ants how when we're doing a link bait piece, we're kind of doing all this stuff all at once. And so I'm going to go ahead because I know the destination of this. I happen to have an advantage in the sense that I'm updating an old piece. So I kind of know what this is. But I'm also linking to my main site. So even then, if someone wants to talk about this, let's say someone wants to do their own survey, or someone does a survey and thinks it's pretty terrible or something. Okay, talk about me. That's a link, right? I'll take it. But so I'm just talking about what I want to do. And I'm in some guidelines, please limit your responses for one website, make it US dollars. If you don't use the service, put 0 there. So the questions I'm asking everybody is, how much do you pay each year for a domain? How much do you pay for your web hosting per year? How much per website do you pay for maintenance per year? Sometimes people make a distinction. Let's see, your web developer may charge you for maintaining your website. Do you pay for a privacy policy, cookie policy, terms of service? Okay, how much do you pay a year for that? Do you pay for email service? Google Workspace, Microsoft 365, or something like that. Do you pay? This is something I added that I didn't have last year, a CDN. I use free Cloudflare, but others may pay for the CDN. A couple people in my survey last year said, oh, I pay for the theme every year. Oh, didn't think about that. Some people, do child themes and stuff like that. So you have to pay that license every year. This is a new thing that I was adding, for plugins for a website every year. Because I'm a marketer, I want to know how much people tend to pay for marketing every year. and then the overarching, and what did I miss? Then I'm asking some other things like, how often do you think a business should redesign their website? And then someone made a comment last year about, well, all this data depends on the type of website. So like I'm saying, okay, does your website market to consumers or marketing business? And there's probably more variations, but I'm just trying to keep it simple. Are you a small business, or you medium business, you larger enterprise business, or you nonprofit business?
Um,
Yeah, go ahead.
back to your B2C, B2B.
Yeah.
There'll be a third one, both.
Yeah, I can do that.
That I would have a hard time picking between the two.
Right. Okay.
I'm just a thought.
No, that's good. Let's see if I can change that while I'm thinking about it. Uh, Part of me wants to answer snarkily, anyone with a heartbeat, but yeah, that's probably not productive. Okay, I did great. Thank you.
Mhm.
And then I also want to know, is the person filling out, do they sell websites professionally? Are we getting data from a provider or from someone who's a buyer of websites? And then here's the other thing, right? I want to be able to collect data and promote it at the same time. So I ask if you just want me to just leave your email address and I'll send you the results. I'm going to send them this updated blog post, right? But if they want to leave their email address, they can potentially help me promote it. Maybe they'll share it on social, maybe they'll link to it, but I'm building in the promotion to the collection of data, right? I don't make this required, right?
Yeah.
There's ways to make this form like if I want to be super strict, one person, one form, and Google will, matched it up with Google accounts to make sure that no one submits twice and stuff like that. But I didn't think that was necessary.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I like it. I think Stephanie had a question first.
Yeah, I was gonna on the marketing question, like how much do you spend on marketing? As somebody who has handled like an entire marketing department
Right.
before, that question is a little confusing to me, because does that mean like what's your entire marketing budget to include what you're spending on this website? Does that mean what are you spending to market the website? Like, are you buying Google ads? Are you buying Facebook ads that point to the website? Are you looking for an overarching marketing budget, or what people are spending to market the website?
Yeah, so
itself?
That's kind of what I meant. So I'll clarify. Do you think it'd be better to ask what is your annual budget to market this website?
Yes, I think that if that's what you're looking for, that is a clearer way to ask it, especially just people who are in like more than just digital marketing.
What is your annual budget to market this website? Oops.
Yeah.
Cool, thank you. That's very helpful. So if you were to receive this, is there anything I can do to make this easier or give someone an incentive to take the time out of their day to fill this out? I'm asking a lot of questions. This is probably a 15-minute.
Yeah, and that's if people know off the top of their head, like they don't have to look up their last receipt for each of these things.
So are there some questions that I could purge from this to make it more less of a barrier to filling it out? Or can you think of an incentive? And like I'd like to add something to this to say why they should fill this out. Maybe it's like, make sure you're not spending too much.
Something maybe with their competitors. I was watching this thing about like what the meat industry does basically to monopolize prices essentially, and that's combining all their data to figure out what they're charging and what they're paying for each, for their labor, for the products. So data alone is perhaps an incentive to find out if you're paying too much or too little, or if other people tend to pay more. So just the value of everyone else's data could be helpful too.
Mm-hmm. If I were to pivot this to focus, because remember, the goal is for me to target web developers and designers, not small businesses, because ultimately this is about promoting Curious Ants. So how could I pivot this to make this more interesting to web developers, designers? Is it making
I feel
sure
like
you're
there's some
over
way
or
to,
undercharging?
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I feel like there's some way to put in there, like find out, even maybe if it's in your pitch when you send the link to this, like you can use the results of this to figure out if you're over or undercharging.
Well, how would you feel if you saw this? And the first question is, give me your email address so I can tell you if you are over or undercharging for your services, based on what everyone else is saying. What's your first impression about that idea?
Say that again. Oh my
What
God.
if the first question is, give me your email address, I'll send you the results so you can know whether you are over or undercharging for these services?
That, and then alternatively to another market, whether not overcharging, but whether you're paying too much for these services.
Well, if I'm trying to focus on
You're
designers,
focusing on
developers,
designers, yeah. Yeah.
I
Okay.
mean, that's gonna be harder, if you're
I would,
managing like 40 websites and you're paying, I mean, that's like a different scale of what you're paying, because, if you're just paying for all this server space versus like,
oh, right.
per website or whatever, is once you get to a certain, you're not paying the same way. You're not like, this is my individual site with individual hosting. You're just buying server space with a bunch of space. So
yeah.
So maybe I change it to how much do you pay every year to how much do you charge every year?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's more useful from
Yeah.
a developer hosting, managing end, because it's not functioning the same as just, SiteGround, paying for the one or two websites or whatever.
Yeah, it's
Right.
a lot different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Once you get to you hit the point where you start paying less per site.
Yeah.
And I think I heard you say, are you overcharging or something? But I would focus on, are you undercharging and not say over, because a lot of businesses like web developers, they undercharge because they you know, all of us, it's like, you know, you go in and you say, well, this is how much time I spent on it, but what's the value of it? So to
Right.
make sure, you know, hey, I might be undercharging and I'm missing out on money. Are you undercharging?
Yeah, I mean, the
Kind
whole,
of focus on that part and not because it's like overcharging. I don't care. I'm not gonna increase
Right. Undercharged.
my
Okay.
costs because I know what goes into it, and maybe that's why I'm overcharging.
Yeah. What were you thinking of, Noah?
the again with that like meat monopoly thing, it's like they would provide the data, this like third party company that got all the data. They would provide it, say how much, you know, apples for apples other companies were charging at particular grocery stores and where you could increase your price. Like, you know, you're charging this, the average is this, these, you know, a couple other places are charging this. So, you know, this is why everybody raised their prices
Okay.
to meet to not be the lowest, you know, but they were all kind of colluding together too. So
Right. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I wanted to show this with you to hopefully inspire you that you could do something. It doesn't have to, like, we're talking about gathering the data, and it doesn't have to be a Google form or a survey. But there are a couple of intentional things in here, like the email address collection, like the Facebook page, like the reference to my website, which does a couple things, gives me some credibility because I'm not just some stranger, but it also potentially sets it up for the creation and promotion of the link bait later. So as you're thinking about your piece of link bait in the data collection, what are some of the ways that you can collect data and learn from this as an example, even if this isn't perfect yet?
I definitely need to add the a field for the email address collection on mine.
Yeah. Yeah. It'd be a shame if, so this, I'm going to change the wording of not just would you like to hear about this, but would you like to know if you're undercharging?
Yeah, I think that would be, and even maybe even, are you undercharging, like bold? So they're like,
Yeah,
oh,
I think that's might be like the
Yeah.
headline, not the cost of doing business, but are you
Are you under-
undercharging?
I think so, especially the target audience. I think that would be a
Yeah.
good headline.
What about some other
I
things?
would consider.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say I would consider for mine. I don't know if you want to do this for yours, but adding a checkbox to see if they want to be added to my email blast list too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The way I was doing it is, and again, there's not necessarily a wrong way, but when I send the email, I will at that point invite them to join the email list.
I
This
would-
way,
Gotcha.
this appears to be more of an objective data collection and not, oh, I kind of want to avoid the perception of marketing,
Yeah,
especially because
yeah.
I want to put this on Reddit as one place. And Reddit hates marketers.
Mm.
Yeah.
They will sniff marketing and they won't let me push this. But I can, if so, that's what I would do it. But if you, I think, Stephanie, you are going to reach out specifically to people in your sphere, I think
Mhm.
that is less threatening to ask that question.
Yeah.
It might also, by having a button, so I'm going to argue against myself, by having an option, you may be saying, I'm not going to automatically purge your email address and put it on my email list because I'm giving you the option, meaning
The
I'm not just going
opt-in,
to throw all
yeah.
your emails into my email list and spam the crap out of you.
Well, I'm looking at my list right now of people. There's only one of my areas for asking that is not a person that I already have their email address. Like
Right.
there's only one spot where I'm not going to send it to them by email already. So I already have their email address.
So is there a way for you to expand your audience and share your survey outside of your immediate list?
Oh yeah. Like there's some the one bullet that is not a person that I already have their email address is a list of like Facebook groups and
Yeah.
LinkedIn groups.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So yeah. That's definitely on my radar too.
Well, so now I'm kind of swimming in this idea of opt-in checkbox. If you received this and there was a checkbox, would your immediate jump to be to, oh, this is just a marketing ploy? Or would your immediate jump be, oh, I can opt out of receiving a bunch of spam from this person?
Yeah, I don't think I would look at it as, oh, this is for marketing. I think it would just kind of be like, oh, I'm giving somebody my email address. If I don't check this box, I can trust her with it, kind of thing.
There you go.
That's kind of because like I'll you go on and sign and you give your email a lot of times and they've got these boxes and it's just like, check it or not. And I don't, it's like if I check it, I'll get emails. If I don't, I won't. So, I think I don't really jump to that. Maybe because things have changed, but I wouldn't.
Okay. And I'm kind of at the point where I assume that if I provide somebody my email address, that I'm going to get added to their email list.
That's exactly somehow,
which I hate, but
yeah.
Even if it's by handing them my business card, I'm somehow going to magically end up on their stupid email blast list.
Yeah.
So I think at least and again, we're you and I are both kind of targeting different markets and different people with different mindsets. So while what you're thinking for your people may be right, and like they may jump to, oh, this is for marketing, great, I don't want to help that out. I don't think my people, we're already in that marketing world anyway, and kind of assume, I think mine would be more of a trustworthy kind of thing.